Hey, everybody, welcome. It's Oakland Restaurant Week. This is the first day, and I'm really excited to talk to my friend Paul Canales. And Paul, because for one thing, I should have done this a long time ago. On my own, just brought the camera in there. I think I asked once, but understandably, you guys will kind of like, well, we'd rather not right now, but some other time. And but I knew the some other time would always come, but I was so busy enjoying your noshes and your cocktails, I was too happy to think about anything else.
Well, that's good in some ways, right?
Oh heck yeah, that's it, folks. I want you to look at this man's place near the corner of Broadway, and I'm sorry, near the corner of Telegraph and 18th, right
19.
19th, right from this Fox Theater. It's one of these things where it's funny. I know exactly. Boom, the interior. You got to see it where it is. In fact, where 19th is, that's the window right there. That's the window right there. And if
Right.
you go out the door and turn right, you will hit the Fox Theater. So if you're going there for a show or something like that, going to the Fox, this is the man you got to visit before you do anything or after the Fox, right? But hey, tell my viewers how you started this wonderful restaurant. And welcome to my channel for the first time. I mean, I'm sure
Thanks so much.
I kind of like did this before. I thought, yeah, what the heck is wrong with me? Anyway,
No, man, so great to be with you, and great to see you again, and glad to see you're healthy through all this craziness that we've been dealing with. And by the way, I just need to commend you on your hairstyle. It
back
is
at
exceptional, and people like us got to
Thank
stick
you.
together.
Thank you.
We got to stick together. But yeah, so
Absolutely.
when I was looking around, I live in Oakland. I'm an Oakland resident, and I was looking around, and I really, I spent most of my time in Rockridge, which was just fine, but it really wasn't vibey enough for me. I really wanted to be more access where there was nightlife, where there are people that don't all look like me, and so I was trying to find a spot that had more of that urban feel. Um, and even though I grew up in Fresno, I spent a lot of time up this way, and so I'm more of an urban kid that way. And so I found this location. I love the Fox Theater, it just reopened, and the Paramount, and all the vitality happening in the Uptown district. So that's what got me in this neighborhood. And then we found this space that you showed so graciously, and it was an office building. And Zenny, it was jive, man. It was not dope inside. So we basically gutted it, and I had a great architecture firm that helped kind of figure out what to do with the space based on what I wanted, which was more flow and feel and moments, and then worked with a lot of local artists to create the actual feel of the place in terms of, every piece of furniture was built other than the chairs from recycled and reclaimed wood. The skins on the bar are all sheet metal that we rusted ourselves using hydrogen peroxide, and just a lot of craziness went into building this place. The light fixtures were created by local artisans, and we just kind of did it all. We were those kids that got into the cool school but couldn't have the fancy Adidas. You know what I'm saying? So we had to do it all on a budget. So we did it all ourselves, and a lot of great people involved in that. So
I like that. My favorite place to sit, I call them nook and crannies on the side there.
yeah,
And I mean, it's great. I mean, it's a great place to take a date because the first time I was there, that's really what I was doing. It worked.
yeah, man. That's our goal, by the way.
Hey, touchdown, brother. So,
Try to make it a good night for y'all.
yeah, and it was also particularly nice to see the wood grade. It's warm. It for some particular reason it invites conversation, and it's a great backdrop to the food. I mean, so you guys got it right. I don't know if that was your inspiration going in to do it just like that, or how did that happen? Because sometimes there's forecasting, and then there's serendipity, right? How did that happen?
Man, that's brilliant. I'm so glad you asked that question, because most everybody assumes when they walk in and they see the place, they say to me, and they compliment me, and they say, "Man, what an incredible vision." And I'm like, yo, man, what you were seeing is an improvisation captured in time with a bunch of really creative people and collaborators that all brought their own creative energy to my craziness, and then together this whole thing was created. So it wasn't my vision. My vision was to get people who I love, who are very talented and passionate artists and artisans, together and organize them around an idea, which was Duende, the evocative spirit of creative expression in Spanish culture, and then get them and force them to read source documents and a lot of visuals, and then bring their own creativity to it. And that's what you see. And then my job was sort of make it all fit, so it's not just a hodgepodge of ideas. And then again, it all has to be in service of where we live. We live in Oakland, so we're in Oakland. We wanted to be now. We didn't want it to look like a restaurant you could drop into Dallas or Atlanta or Boston or New York or Chicago or any other major city. So it wasn't designed in that way. It was created organically by people who live in Oakland to feel like Oakland and to make it feel like it had been here for a moment. So as I mentioned, it was an office building. We gutted it. And then we wanted it to feel like what happens when the circus leaves town. So when the circus leaves town, it leaves all this broken stuff, and who moves in? Junkies, prostitutes, skateboarders, and they put it to proper use. And that's what we did, all in the service of a vibe where people would walk in, feel the hug, feel a warmth, but also feel like they're in an edgy urban environment, and all of that in service of improvised Spanish Basque food based on here we are in California.
Hey, talk about some of your dishes and also your drinks, because I think you had a particular take on. I think it was it was like an old fashioned, which is really great, but you have some really interesting mixtures, concoctions. Talk about that too.
Yeah. So in terms of the cocktail program, it started with a great. I hate to use the word mixologist; it's kind of overused, but cocktail creator named Troy Bayless, and he was our first guy, and he was very interested in rum and agricole, and so what he did is he basically took classics and started with his own tinctures. So he made his own tonics, made his own syrups and things, and then did takes on those. Our current bar manager, JB Reynolds, is brilliant at that as well. And again, he's really an expert in mezcal and tequila, as well as all the other spirits. But he really takes ideas and improvises from there, creating his own flavors, tonics, syrups, shrubs, tinctures, all of that. And then that fits well with the idea of the food, because a lot of people have had Spanish food. They've been to Spain, but they're used to what I would call museum food, like things that you see in hotels or tourist places. And I didn't really want that. What I wanted was, and you're showing paella. So paellas are made paella pans from scratch using the bomba rice, which is the most expensive rice by several times because it absorbs like 3 times of the amount of the flavors. And it's made in a very traditional way, but using ingredients of the moment from around 100 miles within of the restaurant. So what we do is we honor these time-honored traditions, but we also improvise and create modern flavors with it. And we do that with the tapas as well. So we're not just kind of stuck in a museum and doing what people think of as Spanish food, because in the best restaurants in Spain, they're not doing that either. They're taking classics and they're extending the form, if you will, kind of like what jazz does. If jazz doesn't keep extending, then you're stuck in the museum of jazz, and nobody really wants to hear that.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Hey, so what's your favorite signature dish? The one that you say, is it the paella? One that you say, okay, of all the dishes we have, you got to do this.
So I'm glad you mentioned that, because I don't have signature dishes. So I'll just tell you, for me, it's a signature process. And that means
Hmm.
we're honoring all the technique and tradition of classical cooking, classical Spanish and Basque cooking, and then using those as a jumping off point for improvisation. So the process is signature in that it always, you may not see the same thing next week or the week after, but you can bet that what we did was not just make up ideas and not really think about what we're doing. So there's that. Excuse me. That said, there are some things that have been on the menu since we opened because customers decided they were signatures. You feel what I'm saying there?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, and that ties into Restaurant Week. So there's really 3 of those. One would be the ensalada de col, which is the cabbage salad that everybody goes crazy about. And that salad was really a throwaway idea. We did not have that on the menu. When we opened, we didn't have a salad. I had talked to my sous chefs. I said, guys, we don't have a salad. And they said, yeah, well, because you improvised the menu today, my brother. So that's why we don't have a salad. So I went to the basement. I found a case of cabbage, made that salad the first day. It got written about, and it's been on the menu ever since. So that's one. Another one would be patatas bravas. So patatas bravas.
Excuse me.
I know. And so patatas bravas are one of those things. Like, Zenny, if you and I and 2 of our friends were going out hopping around in Spain, you and I and our 2 friends would all have our favorite bar with our own favorite patatas bravas, and we'd say, yeah, okay, we'll get those at your spot, but we got to go to mine for the real ones. You know what I'm saying? So everybody has their own take. So we had a take, and that's what we do. Those are the bravas here, and they haven't changed from the beginning. And then you mentioned paella, and of course the paellas are made in the traditional way. They're made to order, but they're signature in the sense that they're always evolving with what's happening in season. And that's the core of our Oakland Restaurant Week menu, because we think of the sort of classic Duende menu. Yeah, there you're showing it to go. So that's the classic Duende menu. The menu meal would be ensalada de col, patatas bravas, paella, pick a dessert, and that's sort of the core menu, and then everything else is up for grabs.
Oh, that looks so good right there.
Yes, man. I'm going to send it to you.
Oh, thank you. Please do. Oh, that would make my year. Outstanding.
You and your mom.
Yeah, she'd love it. Absolutely. Hey, so how are we doing in terms of recovery? And what do you want us to be? And, more pointedly, what can the city do to help you?
Well, so let me just start where we're at and where we've been. We were able to, we had to close in 2020. We're just not the biggest to-go restaurant. We're really, as you mentioned, we're in a restaurant to be experienced. And people did support to-go, but it never was going to be enough to keep us afloat. Mm-hmm. So we closed from July 2020 to June 21. And when we started, it was gangbusters. And then Delta hit, slowed us down, came back into the fall with some more gangbusters. Omicron hit, slowed us down. We actually had to close for a couple of weeks in January. And now we're starting to kick again. And I think, we survived, number one. And by the grace of God, whoever God is, or whoever she is, however that works, all power, we survived that. But we survived with persistence. And I think what I think I'd like our people to know is that we are here. We're open for business. We do this because we love you. It's not for us. I mean, it is in a sense, but we do it because we love our community. We love our guests. We love our employees. And it's vibrant, man. The scene is vibrant. Yep. And there's a lot of us around, a lot of restaurants, a lot of people, a lot of bars, a lot of food service, a lot of creative people doing a lot of cool things. And doing it in a way in Oakland that's very unique. As you know from being around here, it's not like being in a city where what's the latest trend. It's more punk rock and more hip hop in the way of, like, you got something to say, you're either going to do it with a guitar or a beatbox, and you're going to do it as quick as you can and get it out there to the people. And that's what we're doing in Oakland. And that's what we do at Duende. So we want people to know that it's safe to eat out. We're here for you. Be safe, be careful, be smart. But man, you can have a great experience out again. And it's time to get out and about and let's make this happen.
Hey, how much also did shows like, I think Judas Priest was at Fox not too long ago, right?
Yeah, man.
Well, yeah. And put on an awesome show from what, I saw from a distance, but hey, I got my ways.
I know you do.
How was it? How did that help you all recover? Because you're right next to that.
It makes a huge difference. So before the pandemic, the Fox especially, but the Paramount, the old Uptown Theater, which is now just reopening, the New Parish, all those vibrant music venues around here make a massive difference to our business model, because we don't have just a lot of natural street traffic down here. Not yet. We will, but it's starting to happen with the hotels popping up and more retail starting to pop up. But those shows really make a massive difference to our model. And so, as they're coming, they're really business partners, especially the Fox. But they're really business partners of ours. So with them coming back, I mean, it's like wide open again. It's like the world is amazing. We're full. We're having, and it brings people down on regular nights as well, because they get more accustomed to, they remember you're down here. It's hard to remind people that we're all alive and we're all doing stuff, because we've gotten so insular in our COVID world. But now as people open up, the Fox Theater especially, but the Paramount, the people that reopened the Uptown, it's called, I got to remember the name for you. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Okay, it's off the tip of my tongue too.
Yeah, it just reopened. And then the New Parish, of course. I mean, those and the Starline may reopen to do shows. I mean, that all makes a very vibrant scene down here. It really helps out the local bars, Bar Shiru and Make Westing and all the cool spots down here, Bar 355 and all of that. Legionnaire, yeah.
Hey, folks, I have to note that the photograph you're looking at is actually what you see if you come out of Duende and turn right.
Yeah, that's right out our front door.
Yeah, boom, that's it. So that's how close Paul is to the Fox. So keep that in mind when you're planning something involving the Fox. Put Duende to go first, and then when you get out.
Yeah, man.
And,
we're here for it.
It takes nothing to go over. I mean, absolutely, that's what you got to do right there. Hey,
and also, we're on the way to the BART. If people are coming from San Francisco or from, the East Bay somewhere, we're like half a block from the BART. We're right on your way from the BART station to or from.
Yeah. You just get off there and actually just walk 1, 2, 3, 4 doors. You get off BART. There's that 19th.
Yeah, that's right.
The side entrance, go to the escalator, right?
Right.
You come out at Make Westing to get to Duende. You just turn right. You walk down the next intersection,
right,
19th, and cross the street. Go to the middle of the block. You can't miss Duende. It's right there.
Or if you come up out of Broadway onto Broadway, you're going to come straight up 19th to get to the Fox anyway.
Yeah, we're slowly getting back to where we were, and I think where we were was excellent and getting better before the pandemic.
That's exactly right, and we're starting to see. How you can kind of tell is what's it like when you walk outside on Thursday night and there's no show? Are there some people walking around? Is there some nightlife movement? Is there some movement? Is there a guy selling danger dogs, off of his little table cart, because there's a movement, That's what vibes, that's what happens in Oakland. And that's how things are starting to come back to a little bit more semblance of normalcy.
Hey, I'm curious, during the pandemic regarding cocktails, was there a particular drink that people ordered more than anything else or started drinking? I'm just curious how the pandemic has changed our lives,
Well, so the biggest to-go cocktail for us was the Paloma.
Well, what's the Paloma? What is that?
So it's a cocktail with tequila and grapefruit juice. It's super accessible and refreshing. Really? And we would sell them. We sold them in sort of those quart delis. So people and they're mixed, they're ready to go, and then people can pour them over their own ice at home if they want, or keep them cold in the fridge. And yeah, so that was the one. That was definitely the one.
Now that we're back, I guess it's going to be more. Hey, are you going to offer eventually? You had a breakfast at one point, right?
Well, we did brunches on Sunday.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. So as we're getting open, we're just about get ready to open again on Mondays, because we were only open Wednesday through Sunday to start, just to kind of feel out what the traffic would be, and staffing is always an issue, but we've ramped up, and now we're getting ready to open on Mondays. So that's next, and then we'll just start to slowly chip away back to what we can do down here. But yeah, so yeah, it's starting to happen again like that.
Well, you said staffing. You got job openings?
Yeah, we do have some job openings, as a matter of fact, and we have job openings. We're going to have job openings not only for Duende, but for the new spot, Occitania, which will be opening in the May timeframe. So we're going to start hiring sooner rather than later for both, so we can get our staff built up and ready to go. Because you can't just open a restaurant, And especially for the way I cook, you got to work with me a little bit before we can just start working together. I can't just get hired guns,
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, close us out. Tell us what your specialty is going to be for Restaurant Week, and your hours and everything else.
Sure. So our Restaurant Week starts tonight, and it goes till the 27th of the month, of Sunday. And our hours we open at 5:30, and during the week we close at 9:30, but weekends we stay open until 10:30. And then the fixed price menu will be a little amuse, so like a cool amuse-bouche type thing with a splash of bubbles. And then we'll go into the ensalada de col and the patatas bravas, because during Restaurant Week a lot of people come who've never been here, so we want to kind of get them into the classic Duende menu, if you will. So patatas bravas, ensalada de col, and then we'll hit the paella of your choice. You can pick any one of the four, either the paella de carne, the arroz negro, which is the seafood paella, the vegetarian paella with the eggs that you showed a picture of that, and also the fideuà, which is the little noodles cooked like a paella with duck. And you pick one of those, and then you pick a dessert, and that's the fixed price menu.
I want that one. I want that with the duck.
Yeah, brother.
I want that with the duck. Hey, stick around in the background. Oh, tell them your website, by the way. Let's get that up.
Yeah, duendeoakland.com. That's the one to go to. And on social, Duende Oakland on Instagram, and Restaurante Duende on Facebook.
Duende, there we go, folks.
That's it.
Hey, I did it right.
You always do it right, man.
I'm shocked.
No, man. I expect it. You always hit it.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. Hey, brother, stick around in the background, folks. It's Restaurant Week. Duende. Go there. Be there. Don't be a square. Subscribe to Zenny62. Bookmark Oakland News Now, blog.com. And we'll be back with more. All right, Paul, stick around in the backstage.
We'll do.
All right, thanks, man.